Hey, what's up? It's your boy DGL7. Today I have a very special guest. I met her at the Rising Together event that was held about a week or two ago. So I'll let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, my name is Harriet Hines. I'm the former candidate for City Council in District 40, Brooklyn. I'm also the leader of African Graves Matter. African Graves Matter is a national initiative that was formulated in response to opposition or opposing the development on top of the sacred African burial grounds located on Church Avenue and Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, a project that Borough President Eric Adams and Councilman Matthew Eugene were they signed to build housing on top of a sacred African burial ground.
Okay. So, how did you? I actually heard about this from some people in housing because of the controversy surrounding this issue. How did you find out about the graves that were there?
Okay, well, I've been a resident of this district for 44 years, and I did not know, I never knew that a burial ground there existed. While campaigning for city council, I came into contact with also another candidate for borough president, and his name is Robert Elstein, and he happened to know about it. So he brought it to my attention, and when he brought it to my attention, I did a little research to find out about it and discovered that the burial ground has been in existence since the early 1700s, and it was documented to be a burial ground. And in actuality, the one lot that we're fighting for is only a small piece of what actually exists. The burial ground goes from like Church and Bedford Avenue all the way back to around Nostrand Avenue. And there are bones of ancestors underneath Erasmus High School, the post office, the gas station, and all like surrounding buildings, again, going from Church and Bedford up until around Nostrand Avenue. The slaves were not allowed to be buried in the cemetery with the slave owners. So their bones were thrown over to Church Avenue and Bedford. However, the bones of the slave masters, they're located right there on Church Avenue in Flatbush at the Dutch Reformed Church, in a well-kept cemetery. You have like the Cortelyus, the Vanderbilts, the Leffords, the Livingstons, the Nostrands, and we can continue.
So what's going on the properties right now? I believe that they're already developed on. Am I correct?
No, it isn't developed on. The land is vacant right now. However, it was developed on for over a century. They had a Jewish school, I think it's PS 91, that has sat there on the ground for over a century. And it was torn down in 2015 because it was deemed to be structurally unsound. The point that I would like to make is that, again, this has been a documented cemetery since the 1700s. So even prior to them building the Jewish school, they already knew there were bones underneath the soil.
Besides, there also may be some Native American remains there as well, possibly.
Yes, there are also the bones of Lenape, the indigenous people, were also found in the soil along with artifacts.
Okay, so what is the proposed solution instead of them building the housing on top of it?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What is the proposed solution instead of building Eric Adams wants to build housing on top of it. What is your proposed alternate solution?
Okay, we would like to have a memorial,
Okay.
like similar to that of Manhattan, something that could commemorate the lives of the slaves, and something that can educate the lives of the descendants of the enslaved. It is our desire to preserve our history and culture and to share it with the world. The other alternative would be to have a museum there where we can also share the history and educate the masses. We do not want an urban farm, which is what some people in the community had initially said that they wanted. We don't want any kind of vegetation grown on top of the bones of the enslaved. And not only that, no development should go on any sacred site, not just an African burial ground, but any sacred site. And I can say that if this were a Jewish site, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. That place would be preserved the way that they would have requested it to be.
That's I definitely get what you're saying on that matter. So what are what is the number one obstacle towards getting this memorial or this museum put onto that site? What's the number one thing getting in the way?
Okay, well, the first obstacle is when they signed off to put housing, which they say is affordable housing, but we know that no housing here in New York right now is truly affordable because of the AMI is completely not accurate.
Actually, just affordable housing is actually a new form of apartheid, which is sick. It's not public housing. There's different styles. It's public housing, and then there's affordable housing. Affordable housing is the bad version.
That's what they're saying. They want affordable housing. And what the first obstacle is that they signed off on this without properly informing the community. The community here was not aware that a burial ground actually existed there. So the community could not give input on what they wanted to do with this particular plot of land. So that's definitely an obstacle. The decision has already been made, and they're like standing firm with their decision to put housing there instead of a memorial, anything else that we asked for. So African Graves Matter, along with other local organizations, we took it upon ourselves to go and spread awareness to the community so that the community can have a voice and be able to have input in what goes there. But right now, it seems as though the politicians and also HPD, they're ignoring the people's cries in the community.
Is there any events coming up soon to maybe support this particular initiative?
Okay, well, we're having an event on October 6th, which is going to be a rally at Borough Hall. It starts at 8 a.m. And again, the rally is being given by Flatbush African Burial Ground Coalition, and my organization, African Graves Matter, is supporting the coalition with their rally at at Borough Hall, excuse me.
Okay, October 6th is going to be a Wednesday at 8 a.m., right?
Yes, Wednesday, 8 a.m.
Okay. Have you guys made any submissions to maybe City Council to maybe get them to to look at this particular issue?
Well, we did have a meeting with Matthew Eugene about maybe a month ago, because he is the current city council person here. And the meeting was sort of we've made our decision, but we'll tell you that we'll acknowledge that this was a burial ground. Either they'll put a plaque there or something to acknowledge it and let the community know that a burial ground was there. But in terms of with the plans that they made, they're going to go forward with it. He was saying something like
a plaque costs what, $25? They got a $25 solution to that history right there. I know. That's insane.
It's terrible. It's terrible. He was even
wow.
They were talking about a community center is something that can benefit the descendants, there. And
is there any way to maybe force a referendum on the issue?
I'm sorry.
Is there any way to maybe force a referendum on the issue? A referendum?
Yeah, we're trying to see what we can do. We have a proposed meeting talking about African Graves Matter. We have a proposed meeting with HPD. We're trying to have it sometime next week. I asked to have Eric Adams come to the meeting. I did reach out to one of his representatives, but I've yet to get a response back to say whether or not that they're going to come to the meeting so that we can discuss, how we're going to handle this situation. But again, HPD has been open to at least talk, but it's not going to, it doesn't appear as though it's going to do any good to change their mind. So right now, we have to continue to fight the fight and also to keep them in prayer.
Actually, I'm trying to organize a symposium on the issue of housing and the fact that a lot of decisions are made in housing without the community's input. So I think this is actually just another case of showing, the hunger of the real estate industry to just take over all the property and just make a whole ton of money off of it without community input. I think you're a very valuable voice, and I really look forward to working in, I see you out there. You're organizing stuff. You're on, and you're pushing things forward. I will work with you, and I know that and I really look forward to being a powerful ally. You're a
Oh,
powerful
definitely.
presence
Like,
at the event.
definitely, like, anything that you have coming up where we can definitely like spread awareness and work on it, definitely just contact me. I'm definitely for preserving this and speaking out on anything. Like, I'm also against predatory development. The real estate industry has really, really done its number on New York, and it has, like, a lot of politicians have fallen prey to them. I don't know if they're getting financial incentives or what it is. And I want to just bring up one other thing, that when you mentioned going to any, like, local officials, well, again, we just have a new councilwoman elect. Her name is Rita Joseph. She should be taking her place in January. And my concern is that we had did a national report on prison reports, a national publication, and in that publication, she mentioned that she wanted an urban farm on top of the property. And that also, like I said, it concerns me, because while we were fighting to try to save the land, I was on an interview with WBAI. I was interviewed along with two other people.
All right.
And one of the people from Flatbush Workers United, his name is Matt Denaro. He was in an interview. And in the interview, he said that he wanted an urban farm, but he felt that the decomposing bodies of the slaves that were found inside the soil could fertilize the soil and make it richer and grow the crops, and that the spirits of the enslaved can feed the community, which was a very horrible racist statement that he made. So when I hear the new councilwoman, who's also of African descent, as well as Eric Adams, he's of African descent, Matthew Eugene's of African descent. When I see her saying that, she desired an urban farm, and then when I see Matthew Eugene and Eric Adams willing to build on top of their ancestors, it's appalling to know that they, don't have any respect for their ancestors and where they come from. So, it also stings as a person of African ancestry. And, there's a lot of divisiveness in the community. It's like, oh, I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican, I'm Trinidadian, you're American. In reality, we're all one people. We all come from the continent of Africa. During slavery, we were just sent to different ports throughout the world. So those people in that cemetery are still your ancestors. So when it comes to your ancestors, nobody should be able to buy you. You shouldn't be able to be bought and sold.
Another thing is that we're not asking for anything special in this case. We're just asking for, and I hope that a lot of people really just focus right now and understand that we're just asking for fairness and justice. The thing is that whatever happens to those graves across the street, those slave owners, why are they being, right? Whatever they have is what we should have. Whatever your ancestors are, our ancestors should have the same rights. Why is it different for us why are our bodies and our remains worth less than yours? It's really disturbing. It's just not acceptable.
It really is.
Yeah. So
and my thing is this, like, you're going to propose to put a big building on top of our ancestors, right? And like I said, if you look at the plot of land that's there, it's very unkept, weeds growing all up, sky high, rats running all through the land. But when you look the next block up, where the slave masters are buried at, is well kept. It's a tourist attraction. And my thing is this: did you ever offer to put a big building on top of their bodies there?
Yo, and I want to give a shout out right now to the people in the Jewish community who supported us at that Rising Together event. And the thing is that really, if real Jewish people, if you know about remains being honored and stuff like that of people who were enslaved, you should be helping us. So if you want our help with your issues, right? Yeah, then you got to be showing that you're going to help us with our issues. So respect out to the ones that are helping, and no thanks out to the ones who are getting in the way. We have allies and we have enemies in each group, and all groups have factions, but we're just looking for allies wherever we can find them. So we want to work with you Please help us to get justice and fairness. We're not asking for anything special here. In fact, I
No.
would say that the gravesite there is actually, I would say, for me, has a lot more historical significance, because it is something special, and those remains have already been, you know, just to bring things even, right? They've already been left behind. So to make things even,
Yes.
they require a little bit more, honestly. But we're not even asking for that. We're just asking for the same amount. It's beyond overdue. I really respect. So have you been an activist before, or is this your does this issue really kind of, because you ran for city council, right? So were there other issues
Well,
you were attending to?
Well, I also am against gun violence. I've been, very active. I would say within the last several months, spreading, the word that we need to eradicate gun violence. My cousin, her name is Shalimar Burkett. She was the young lady that was killed in May, while at a prayer vigil site mourning the death of her friend who died only 11 hours before. The shooting happened in Brownsville. They've still yet to find the killer. And definitely since her death, I've been very active in attacking that issue, and also letting people know that I am not one who absolutely believes in defunding the police. I believe that the police should be held accountable for the things that they do. I believe that they should have more stringent hiring methods. They should have more access to mental health services, amongst many other things. But to say that we need to take away funds and have less of them on the street, many people who do know me know that I'm a person with a disability, which has affected my mobility. So I transport myself, to and fro in an electric scooter. If somebody was to come and do something to me, I do need the police help. I have children, I have sons, I have a daughter. If somebody was to do something to my children, I would go for the help of the police. Like, every cop is not a bad cop, but I believe that those who are bad cops, they need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable. And I think that the city also needs to listen to the voices of the youth, because all of this gun violence and what's going on, it has to do with, when they say hurt people, these children are hurting. They're not being heard, they're not being considered. And, part of that has to do with, what's also going on. And I can keep going on and breaking it down of what I feel that it is. Also, it's the lackadaisical child care laws. Parents nowadays can't even train their children or discipline their children. There's a difference between discipline and corporal punishment. But the parents don't have any connection with their children now. They have other people telling them what they can do and what they cannot do. And these children have lost respect for their elders, and they're being bred to be in the jailhouse. Now, another thing that I advocate for, again, as a person with a disability, is I advocate for disability rights. I'm a part of the 504 Democrats, which is a Democrat club for disability. I've also brought a disability platform to the New Kings Democrats, who did not have a disability platform, in their policy committee. I brought it in so that people with disabilities can be more inclusive in the political
That's
process.
awesome. Do you
So,
know my man Mark Safman?
I'm sorry.
Do you know Mark Safman?
Is he in the New Kings Democrats?
Yeah, he actually did some work with the 504 Democrats. He's also worked on disability issues getting put onto platforms, and in October, we're going to Albany to testify on disability rights.
Oh wow! You know what? And I probably could have heard of him because, definitely recall the president, Mr. Schweinsberg. I'm always, very active, there. But I would like to get information on what you just told me.
I'm
As
actually
far
going to
as
share that with you. Hell yeah. Maybe you come with us.
please,
That would be a good
please.
time, yeah?
Yes. And so, again, I'm also, what do you call it, advocating for children with special needs. Uh, right now, I'm trying to help stop children from New York City, New York State, excuse me, from being sent out to the Judge Rotenberg Center in Boston, Massachusetts, where the children out there are being electric shock tortured. as for what they call to be corrective behavior. And some of the children are dying, being put in comas. And, I'm trying to stop the children from New York State from being allowed to be sent to the Judge Rotenberg Center. It's been like a 14-year fight that I've been involved. And right now, we're hoping to make some headway, but they're still out there torturing these kids with this electric shock device.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so yeah, this Wednesday, don't forget to show up at a Borough Hall.
Yes.
I wish I could be there. I do think that I'll see what's going on, but I might be having another appointment at that time. But I'll definitely stay in contact and find out what's going on with this particular issue. Yeah, we'll keep pushing it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And like I said, definitely, please text me something, send me something on those issues so that I can follow up.
Yeah, actually, I would like to get you probably later on for my online activist interview series, which asks you other questions about your activism, what do you think the most effective things that activists can do, and just just general questions, because there's a lot of people who, our children are not learning how to be activists. Our children are learning how to be conformists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, they need wisdom from someone like yourself who's out there and doing it. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. So
you're quite welcome.
All right. I'll see you soon. All right. I'll see you at that meeting at 7.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.